discuss just briefly what the dark flower affliction refers to. And the dark flower affliction has to do with the plasma template running the frequencies from the Abaddon matrix in the Milky Way black hole core. And their frequencies that came on into Earth's template in 2009, on December 9th, 2009, through that wormhole opening, the Norway spiral thing that we talked about. From that point, the planet, just like the planet's plasma body, just like a person's plasma body, has this lotus anatomy and has chakras. So on the planetary chakra level, we call them vortices. So there are 7 planetary vortices, primary planetary vortices, just like we have 7 primary embodied chakras, and then 8 morphogenetic field chakras. So on the planetary level, we've taught this in the Freedom Teachings a long time ago, that vortices 1, 2, and 3 are on density 1 Earth, and then density 2 Earth would have chakras 4, 5, and 6. That would be Tyra, which is also on the Pleiades, etc. So they anchor into the planet, but the primary 3 on the planet are chakras 1, 2, and 3 in the density 1 area, which transmit the frequencies for dimension 1, dimension 2, and dimension 3. When the planetary plasma body begins to activate, just like when our plasma body begins to activate, one of the first things that start to activate are the lotus structures within the chakras, where these little receiving and broadcasting organs start to turn on and begin to process frequency. With the dark flowering affliction, it began these parts of our anatomy. This plasma body started to activate in, I think it was like around 2010. The plasma body started activation on the planetary level, which meant our own biology was beginning that process as well. In 2009, when the currents from the Abaddon matrix in the Milky Way black hole began running through Earth's Templar on the plasma body level, it began to run the frequencies in reverse through the planetary chakra system. So the planetary lotuses, this is what we call the dark flowering, because when you actually see these with etheric vision, they actually look like this part of the anatomy, the lotuses, are supposed to look really beautiful, and they're like sparkly. They carry the color frequencies associated with each of the primary chakras, but they're also heliochroic, and they have beautiful colors running through them usually. With the dark flowering, they progressively go more and more black colored, like tar, and they become oozy like tar. They look very much like heated tar that they pave roads with, that kind of thing. So that's why it was referred to the dark flowering, because the lotus anatomy of the plasma body structure on the planetary level in its vortices began to activate on the reverse currents of the Metatronic currents that were coming from the Abaddon matrix in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So that will help you understand a little bit about what dark flowering is and why it's called that. When we have the light flowering, that's the natural process, the blooming of the frequencies of the plasma body progressively turning on within the light body structure of the atomic body, and also within the within the external body, and within the atomic structure of the body as well. So when the dark flowering began in the planetary template, plasma template, with the vortices beginning to run partial, dark flowering frequencies, that also began to trigger that in various groups of people and plants and animals on the planet, because every life form on the planet has a plasma body structure that is also connected to the planetary plasma body structure. When the failsafe was triggered, it stopped that full activation of the dark flowering from occurring, and that was good, because that's why we can still do the transfiguration. We still have the option of transfiguration through ephemeral transfiguration now, but at least describing it that way, if you can picture the planetary body with its vortice system, its chakras, and its chakras, these would be starting to go black, and that's what was happening when the failsafe was triggered. That's what triggered the failsafe. So that's what we're referring to when we get into the dark flowering concept. That's what it was about. And at this point, the planet is protected from that going any further, where this planet will be on the re-evolutionary rise magnetic reconnection path of the ephemeral transfiguration, instead of the Fermi fall fold path, of most of the Milky Way galaxy, which is going into black hole fall and what's called Fermi fold that we'll talk about later. So for now, this is just showing you where your xeon is, where your body cell is, and where the heart of a FEMA point is. And we're going to be using the heart of a FEMA point in Technique 5, which will come up in a while, but not for a while. Once we get through with a little bit more on the body and the xeon, we're going to go into something referred to as the seeds, or the victory seeds. And that's a whole section in this session 2, part 2b, that we will be moving into shortly.